going to call the regular meeting of the Morrow City Council, November 10, 2020 to order. If you will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and followed by a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. On the consent agenda, we have the approval of the October 27, 2020 regular minutes and the approval of the October 27 work session minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve? So moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion properly second. All those in favor say aye. Mr. Qua?
Aye.
Ms. Dean?
Aye.
Ms. Knight?
Aye.
Ms. Tran?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Meeting agenda, approval of the November 10th, 2020 meeting agenda. You've had that before you. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion properly seconded. All those in favor say aye. Ms. Dean?
Aye.
Mr. Qua?
Aye.
Ms. Knight?
Aye.
Ms. Tran?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. New business. Approval to authorize the mayor to execute a Georgia Power lighting service agreement for the installation of a light pole and a light at Waterston Park. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion properly seconded. All those in favor say aye. Ms. Tran?
Aye.
Mr. Qua?
Aye.
Ms. Knight?
Aye.
Ms. Dean?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Might be some discussion on this one. Approval of a 2014 SPOS expenditure not to exceed $12,616.50 for the repair of the fountain at Old Town Morrow. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
All means.
Seeing that this is something that we will be utilizing sometime, and not all of the time, there was an issue back in January that was brought up about fostering a partnership with Clayton County University about the water tower and the logo, the Lady Lakers being put on that water tower to show that the city and the university is working together to create that relationship. And at that time it was tabled or whatever because of the expense, which was, or the maintenance. There was not a consensus on the maintenance. And I believe that the cost to paint the water tower was something like $26,000. And we never did get a cost of what the maintenance would be thereafter. So I'd like to introduce discussion again, to bring that up again, to develop that relationship with the university by looking at putting that logo on the water towers. And that's something that people will see when they get off of the 75 or coming down our corridor, that we do have a connection with the university. And I think it would send a positive message that we're trying to foster not only our relationship with the university, and that will let businesses and residents know that, you know, we are a caring city, since we do have a university in our town and we're not utilizing that asset.
Okay. That's a little bit of a stretch from the conversation on the ordinance, but, or on the expenditure on this one, but then just add one to that as long as you start the conversation. In addition to the $26,000, it wasn't so much the maintenance, it was the fact that the university itself wasn't willing to participate. In other words, if the university saw it as zero value, they weren't willing to put up a dollar, then why would the city of Morrow put up $26,000, not including the maintenance. That's pretty much where we stopped.
Well,
And at that point, the agreement was,
yeah,
it just wasn't, until we could get some active participation from the university itself, it was just that.
as far as the university participating or paying some parts of it, are you saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, considering that we are the government, we are in the city, I think that we should try all options to bring that about, because it is an important institution, and there aren't many cities that have a university in their town, and we should do whatever we can to foster that relationship. That's my opinion.
Okay. Any other questions related to item B under new business? Mr. Clark?
No questions.
Ms. Tran?
No questions.
Ms. Knight?
No questions currently, but we should continue the conversation with regard to marketing ourselves as a college town.
Your item B, approval of the 2014 SPLOST expenditure not to exceed $12,616.50 for the repair of the fountain at Old Town Morrow. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion properly seconded. All those in favor say aye. Ms. Tran?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Knight?
Aye.
Ms. Dean? Motion carries unanimously. Ordinances resolution, second reading of an ordinance 2014 fee schedule. And basically what this is doing is the city in prior time had charged a $60 street light bill as a fee rather than a tax to all of our residents. And this basically removes that fee and it's no longer charged. And then additionally, there was an item that was missed in terms of commercial compactors. Obviously, that's sanitation, and that's basically just charging the regular fee schedule. You had that before you as a second reading. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion properly seconded. All those in favor say aye. Ms. Tran?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Knight?
Aye.
Ms. Dean?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. General comments, city manager.
No, sir, no.
Citizens? Any questions from the citizens? Hey, Wayne.
I just want you guys to know, it's so refreshing to hear that we're gonna do something with that dog space over there. If we can convert that dog space and expand the Morrow Center, I've been asking for years about my alumni event that I give to the Georgia International Convention Center. Over $80,000 a year I pay out over there. I would love to bring that event tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure that I can convince some of the other high school alumni in Atlanta to come tomorrow too, because we hate the parking over at the convention center. You could, I mean, that's refreshing to hear. The space has just been there doing nothing for years, you know, so I just want to make that come.
I appreciate it. Anyone else? Ms. Chair?
You know, okay, this is the second week of the city picking up the yard waste. How's it going?
Well, we missed a few, made a few extra friends. And yeah, I think what they did was they grabbed the list of all the people that were involved in the city and they missed them all. If they missed anybody that was important, let me know. I mean, they're all important, but the list was
That's nice to know.
Yeah.
I thought they were supposed to do it in one day.
Depends on which one we're talking about. Your garbage
Yard,
service itself
yard,
is
yard pickup. You don't get the answer.
He's the one
I want to see
responsible
how much he knows.
He knows it all.
That's right. All I have to do is ask my
See?
right-hand guy, and that's right there. I
It's
will
not
say
happening
this.
in one day, I can tell you that.
Billy's got an excellent answer.
What is it?
Because we had such a rough storm to come through.
I know that.
There are a lot of-
I told you that week was gonna be bad.
And it did, and we're paying a price. And so what we're doing is we're kind of doubling up. we noticed that some people put some tree debris out, and then the very next day we come back through and there's a little bit more tree debris out. So we know it's going to be a gradual thing, so we're going to continuously route through the city. Even when we're doing the bulk pickup, we're going to keep picking up yard waste because we know that we still have some out there, and some folks still are trying to get rid of some stuff. So it's an ongoing process for a minute. Now, looking at the weather, there's a strong possibility that we'll get a lot of rain these next couple of days. Guess what? Might be back to square one again. Won't know until we get the rain. But nevertheless, here's the takeaway. If anyone has yard waste that was not picked up, you can simply either email me or give me a telephone call. Or you can reach out to Victor, let us know, and guess what? We're gonna come out there and we're gonna do what we need to do to get that tree debris up as quickly as possible.
So the answer is, it's only gonna be done in one day if people put it out only one day.
That is
Well, I put
correct.
mine out Sunday, and it's up there Sunday and Monday, and they finally picked it up about lunch today.
Did you call us?
Not for yard waste, no. You're supposed to
And
pick it
again-
up on Monday.
and
You're
again,
supposed to
just-
come by and pick it
I
up.
want it in the record. It doesn't, we are bombarded. I'm not gonna make any excuses. If your yard waste has not been picked up or there's a situation with the yard waste, I want everyone to feel free to give me a call. I will respond swiftly and we will assess and we'll do whatever we need to do to make sure that your yard waste is taken care of.
I'm just wondering how much extra money we're spending to do this.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. And I have you a nice little answer. We've been very fortunate that we implemented our community service program. As a result of that, right now in Clayton County, I am the only agency that's operational. Now, we take great pride in being open, but we also take safety with regards to COVID-19. We have a lot of preventative measures in place to ensure that we don't have a problem. So what we've been able to do is, we've been able to utilize some of those personnel to help us pick up some of this yard waste. So, for example, this morning, we took 3 trucks plus the big truck, and we went in separate directions, and we did assessments. Now, one of the biggest challenges that we have is leaves. Everybody's bagging leaves. Some folks are bagging with plastic bags, and some folks are following the rules, and they're using the brown paper bag. Nevertheless, we're not gonna leave any leaves in anyone's yard if they're bagged in plastic or other. What we're doing is we're throwing them on a trailer. We'll take them back to the yard, and we have to burst open those bags and then place them in a container so that we can take that waste to the landfill the proper way, so that we don't have an additional charge for that.
So how are you taking it to the landfill?
Well, we're actually taking it to the waste location where they actually take.
In the
yard
truck
waste.
that you're picking it up in?
In both. We're taking it in dumpsters, and we're also taking it in the truck. It just depends on how quickly we get the 2 filled up. Like today, the dumpster's full, and today we made 3 trips to the landfill, well, to the site to dump yard waste. Again today, and again. If I could get everyone just to follow the rules and put it in the right bag and not put extra work on me.
But we cut your garbage service price in half. You know? And if
So where's
if you have a
Morrow?
homestead exemption of $150,000, we could sit there and say, not only did we cut it in half, but your tax rate is 0. That's not bad. Now, I realize Billy's doing a little extra work. That's what we pay them for. So the good news is, it's working. Now, I realize some people may have had some minor issues with regular garbage service too. If it makes you feel any better, I'm probably the ugliest garbage man because I did handle a couple of those myself. Not at my house, at somebody else's house to facilitate, to ensure prompt service. So no one at the city was exempt from, some of what we had. But we're, first week, not bad. We have a couple that we missed. We'll get better.
Oh, we're gonna get better.
One more.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember Barton Park? Remember when was it the DOT that came in and made the little street, cut down all the kudzu? kudzu's back, growing over the fence on I-75.
Easy enough. Any other comments?
I have a comment.
Sorry. Yes, ma'am.
I am a recipient of 2 trees that went down as of the, last storm. I have in the back of my yard a drainage area. One of them, got washed out for the roots, and that came down, and then another one. So these guys have done a wonderful job, because next week will be the end of all my little debris that I have to carry out. Y'all have done a super job. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'll definitely pass that along to the staff. They'd love to hear that.
All right. Anybody else? Council's coming next. Any other citizens?
I just have a quick question with regards to the debris. My trash was missed, and I did call and they came out the next day. But right at the front of our subdivision at Brookwood Estates, Georgia Power came out and they cut down a lot of limbs, and they're just sitting there. So I don't know, who should we call to come get that, because it's right out there on Old Rex Morrow Road, and it's been out there since the storm. So we don't know who comes to pick that up, because it's just sitting.
We'll take care of it.
Power cut it down. We got.
Did you see the name of the truck when they cut the trees down? The limbs?
Well, I know it was Georgia Power because the power was out. So they had the
That was a
buckets
different thing.
going up to get it.
We've
So-
got to contact.
Because they trimmed leaves on my street, and then it took them, it was on Thursday, and they finally picked up all the junk today.
Mhm.
And what
But
I'm
that's
gonna
a
do
different
is,
company.
I'm gonna get staff who's routing around through the city to pay more attention to who's working for Georgia Power.
Okay.
And in the event they do cut, I wanna be out there and have a conversation with them to say, listen, you can't leave the debris for 3 days, 4 days, a week, 2 weeks. You can't do that. You gotta get it up as swiftly as possible, because you're creating a problem for us. Worst case scenario, if they don't get it, guess what? We're coming out there to get it. So I don't want you to sit and think that it's gonna sit there another day, because it's not. We'll be out there tomorrow to get it.
And then we should talk to you with regards to the backdoor service and all of that. Because what happens in the subdivision is that when the management for the HOA comes out, they write these nasty notes to us because we're not supposed to leave our trash cans in front. And then everybody's trash cans were like on the sidewalk, and you had to go find your trash can because it was all mixed up.
Are you on Fort Trail?
I'm on Florence Drive.
Florence, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so to the mayor's point earlier, we did have some, Brookwood Estates was one, Harbin Terrace was another, North Ridge and Childers Way. We had some hot spots that had clusters of misses, and we believe that we've resolved those. And so, should the next week come and go, and I'm not talking about yard waste, that's Public Works, we certainly contact us, and, I'm happy to give you my phone number and email too, because we want instant relief as we can. So, but Brookwood Estates was, and Florence Drive and Fort Trail. Fort Trail's more than Florence Drive, were 2 of the streets that had some problems this past Friday. So we appreciate you being here, because keeping us informed obviously puts us in a better position to resolve the issue. So.
And kind of an added incentive is the manager for this area lives in Athens, and he had the fortune to drive to this city 3 times this week. So I imagine his staff is probably going to get some pretty good direction, because I'm not sure how far that is, but it's what, a 2-hour drive one way. So picking up your garbage for 4 hours of his life, multiply it by 3 times. I'll bet you he solves that.
Okay.
C.S. Lewis says, experience is a brutal teacher.
Other
He
questions?
learned.
Comments from the city council? Ms. Dean?
Yes, regarding sanitation. Do you have who has the list for the street pickups? Because, Central Park, not Central Park, Stratford Arms Drive and Stratford Arms Court. Nancy, what day do they pick up your trash?
Thursday, you're different from me, I thought.
Right, so.
Are you talking garbage?
Yeah.
Here's a list. You
So-
can look at mine.
Yeah, since we're right next to each other, why aren't those 2 streets combined on the same day?
Well, I think initially when Angela may have pulled that list together, she kind of selected the streets the way that she felt worked best. And I think.
Are you talking about garbage or yard
Well,
wash?
she's talking-
Garbage. We didn't create that list, waste pro did.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know, I could certainly ask them, but, you know, they manage their schedule, their routes, so
Well,
we would
they
not.
have to pass the street to come to me. It's just the cul-de-sac.
But, you know, typically when the vendor is selected, they set out their route sheet. So I can certainly say, hey, just FYI, in case you didn't notice, Stratford Arms, Stratford Court right beside each other on different days. But, you know, again, we didn't create the routes, but we can certainly point that out to them.
I think, it seems like there was a couple of other streets, I can't remember off the top of my head, that they were on the same route, just right next to each other.
In fact, I was on the phone this afternoon, as I've been many times these last few days, we were talking about Morrow Animal Hospital being picked up the same day as Northridge, because when you come out of Northridge and take a right, you have to pass Animal Hospital to go down the road. So that could be good advice that they may appreciate, so I'll certainly point that out to them.
Because that's an extra trip coming all the way back for Stratford Arms Court. And my other question is, what are you all doing with wood chips?
Right now, nothing. We actually had a small pile.
Okay.
And just recently, it wasn't that much. We loaded it up into a container and disposed of it with the yard waste. If there's an interest, hold on. But if there's an interest.
There's a lot out there, trust me.
There's a lot.
You ain't gonna want all of it.
And you're not gonna want all of it, believe me. But if in fact you do want some of the wood chips,
Yeah.
you know, we can do something.
Yeah,
Yes.
we need to be in a space so it can start decomposing.
Okay.
We don't want that fresh stuff, we want it to decompose.
Are you specifically saying you want us to look at creating a spot somewhere to let that decompose?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Back over in the woods somewhere.
I will-
The mayor won't see it.
I will work with the city manager and we will come up with something.
That's good stuff, that's brown gold.
Got it?
You gardeners.
Other questions? Mr. Kwame? No questions. Ms. Knight?
I don't have any questions. I did want to make a quick comment. You know, we did have our retreat this past weekend, and I guess something that jumps out to me that I want to share with the mayor and council again and citizens, as being such a diverse community, cultural sensitivity is a great way for us to kind of make sure that we are aware of different cultural differences, whether they're our efforts as a city to translate information for all citizens to be aware, but also cultural sensitivity also kind of moves in the area where you don't want citizens to feel as if they are targeted or profiled in any way. I know that there was a comment by email sent about translation services. We'll continue as a city to do what we can to make sure that we're reaching out to all citizens and being sensitive to cultures, but we also don't want to make people feel as though they're targeted in some way that makes them feel uncomfortable. But, you know, we do as a city embrace diversity, and I just want everyone to maintain their awareness of what cultural sensitivity means.
Ms. Tran?
No comment.
All right. I've just got one. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and the rain is going to require that be held over at the Morrow Conference Center. I believe the times are
At 11.
11 o'clock, and we've got a number of good speakers. We'll have
State Representative Mike Lanton and the Commander-in-Chief of the National Veterans of Foreign War, VFW, Mr. Hal Roach, the second will be there. And then Mr. An Nguyen is also speaking. So 3 speakers, and then we have as many as 5 proclamations honoring veterans in the city.
Some of those guys weren't well received when they came back. It might be the only recognition they ever formally got. So, good job. That being said, we're gonna adjourn the meeting and go right back into the work session.